And this series is all about greening Algeria's universities and inspiring and empowering you to learn from others, to share your own learning, and actually to achieve greener universities. It's the time to do it now. So over the weeks, we focused on other future aspects of sustainability: energy, waste, cities, food, biodiversity. But today it's an odd one. It's on partnerships and collaborations. Why partnerships and collaborations? Well, this theme comes from the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. It's actually goal number 17, the last one. I'd actually suggest it's one of the most important ones. And the goals, if you haven't heard about them, are the most transformational goals to transform our world. They provide a historic opportunity where most of the world's governments agreed on priorities to unite global stakeholders to end extreme poverty, fight inequality, injustice, and to protect our planet. And SDG 17 refers to the need for cross-sector and cross-country collaboration, and that's what today is all about. So put simply, it's about strengthening and streamlining cooperation between nation states, between the developing world and the developed world, using the SDGs as a shared framework, a shared vision for defining a collaborative way ahead. So let's move on. We've got 4 great panelists for you today, and each will have 5 minutes to share with us their insights to partnerships and collaborations and how universities across Algeria and the UK can actually, share and learn from these new approaches to cross-sector, cross-organisational, cross-disciplinary collaborations and partnerships. What can you do? What can you do to create new partnerships?
I'm truly honoured to be speaking about such an important topic and to be speaking here with the British Council, which I know really from several different sources is truly committed to supporting young people in Algeria. And I hope that we can build on this and work together more in the future. But I'm particularly delighted to be speaking to an Algerian audience. As Ian mentioned, I worked in Algeria from 2007 to 2009, and then I went on to do my PhD and later write a book about civil society in Algeria. And that's really thanks to the amazing colleagues that I had when I was working in Algiers. Bezef, really, it was a pretty amazing professional experience, probably the best professional experience I've had. And one really which taught me that Algeria has this incredible capacity and potential to bring about transformative change in the world. And as we all know, Algeria did this between 1954 and 1962 in the War of Independence, bringing an end to colonialism, not only in Algeria, but across the African continent, and bringing change for Africa, but also for Europe. And a dear Algerian friend reminded me just this morning of this capacity of Algeria to inspire us to achieve what we think is not possible. And at the Bandung conference in 1955, when Ferhat Abbas spoke, they asked him, but how can you possibly defeat the most powerful colonial rulers in the world when you have almost no means to do so? And Ferhat Abbas replied, yes, but we have the baraka. And today I put this to you. Faced with the climate, the ecological crisis that we have, we need the baraka more than ever. We need hope, we need energy, we need faith, and we need international cooperation so that we can find these new solutions. And Algeria within this, I personally believe, is such an important voice. And young people, students, are that important voice that we need to listen to. The UK is also a particularly important country at the moment for different reasons. The UK is now hosting the COP, the next climate change talks in November this year, as Ian mentioned and Orlando mentioned. And civil society and universities, I strongly believe, are key players, key institutions, key organisations that can influence this. And so my colleagues, I think, are going to talk a little bit more about what UK universities are actually doing in that area. So my talk, I want to really tell you a little bit about what we're doing as a continuation now, as a cooperation between Algerian and British universities in terms of shared research, and how this led us to working on the environment, having an environmental focus. And I would love to have your feedback from the participants today. And also just for us all to remember that we have 500 wonderful Algerian PhD students currently working in British universities, in my own in Coventry University at the moment. So the potential for collaboration across universities is huge. So back in 2018, I was invited to Mohammed Sadiq Ben Yahya University in Jijil to speak at a conference. And during this conference, which was about local social capital and sustainable tourism, we met with the Algerian PhD students at that university, and they asked us about how we could develop further exchanges. They wanted support with English and academic English in particular, and how to share their research internationally. So as a result of that, I worked together with our colleagues, particularly Dr. Adel Shihab and Professor Shakur at Jijil University, and we developed a program together. And we put this out and we got funding from the British Academy. So we were able to invite 20 other students from universities across Algeria to come to Jijil and to work on their research and their English. During those sessions, where we also invited the Wilaya, that's the regional government, environmental associations, and also entrepreneurs, we looked at questions like waste management, and environmental problems, which came out as a key theme. Needless to say, that initiative, that workshop, was a huge success, and the students all went away keen to build a network and to think strategically about the root causes of these environmental problems. What were the solutions, and what role would young people have? How did they imagine the future and the kind of jobs which would be needed to tackle those problems? So together we put in a bid and developed a programme, this Youth Futures DZUK, and you can check our website, that's youthalgeria@coventry.ac.uk, or Google us on Facebook. If you look up Imagining Youth Futures programme, you'll find us, or get in touch. And this is really just an incredible opportunity to work together, to think about research. How can we explore these environmental challenges and work together across Jijil University, Coventry University in the UK, and 12 other universities from where we had students working together in this network. So of course we've had delays with COVID, but we have managed to do training, and we're just about to look now into collecting data. But just an initial finding I want to share with all of you is that there really is a huge amount happening in Algeria at the moment, and young people are playing such an important role. Often in small associations, they're making a big difference on the ground. There's from networks, online organisations, to individual influencers such as Younes Drisi Tani, I'm sure you all know, who invented the trash tag challenge, which inspired people around the world to go out and clean up their local environments. And Younes says it's really about hope, image, and an action that you can bring about change. So I've been working on this for a long time. My main interest and passion now is to really think about how we can learn from young people. How can we learn from their ideas, from students, from academics? In my own university, I've just measured our carbon footprint for our research centre, and I can only say that we have to be honest here that UK universities, our carbon footprint is far higher than I would imagine most Algerian universities. And we also have a responsibility to think about how we travel, about internationalization, about our own behaviours when we're thinking about cooperation. What can we learn from Algeria to do things better? What are the new ideas, and what can young people teach us? Because they have the ideas, they have the creativity, they have the energy, they have the baraka, and we owe it to them, I feel, to listen better and to learn, so that we can ensure that they have a clean, a safe, and a bright future. I mean, obviously what really helped us was the opportunity to travel before the global pandemic, and creating those friendships and partnerships, meeting each other both in Coventry and then in Jijil. Spending time together, I think, definitely helped. Obviously the situation is more challenging now, but what we have found is, I think, even online, kind of regular meetings with inspiring speakers and topics which they want to work on can absolutely, I think, bring together students from very different backgrounds to learn from each other. And university students in general, you know, want to challenge their thinking and have new opportunities. So I think time at university is absolutely when you want to go beyond your comfort zone and meet other people.
I'll share my screen with you and just share some thoughts that hopefully resonate with those on the call. Yeah, as Ian said, I'm an assistant director with responsibility for everything you can see on this slide, and I'm not making any apologies for this slide. It's busy because we're busy. We're doing a lot of work to try and rise to the task that sits before us. In Glasgow, as a university, we're an innovation centre. We're a leading technological university. We work a lot on engineering. We work on social sciences. We work on science and biomedical, bioengineering, and we also work in business. So we're very much an applied university, and the DNA of the university is around innovation and collaboration. So that's what this slide illustrates. Sustainable Strathclyde is the team that I work alongside, and we're very busy collaborating and partnering with the wider society in Glasgow and in Scotland and the UK, because, and this is most important, we've realised very quickly that we need to work with others, and the only way to deliver the transformation and radical systemic change that we need to tackle climate change in terms of mitigation and adaptation, and also be socially progressive, is that we all need to work together as best we can. And we take a whole systems approach to the challenges that are faced before us. So Glasgow is buzzing, as they say, pure buzzing. Ian said don't use any technical language, but pure buzzing, you can look that up. It's a very Glaswegian phrase, and it sums up the excitement and energy that's in the city at the moment, and we're very much part of that. Now, Ian referred to the vision that we've got for our operating facilities, which is very much what I work in, and that is to create climate neutral districts. We have operating facilities across the central belt. If you imagine the middle of Scotland, we operate in that area, as well as within Glasgow city centre. So we're taking a whole systems approach to really rethink a new way to be at a societal level. Using our natural and physical resources locally, you'll maybe be aware, but if you're not, then you should be, because Scotland generates 92% of its energy needs from renewables. So that's mostly from wind. 73% of Scotland's energy comes from wind, and 19% is from hydro. And on Monday, 100% of that energy was generated from wind because it was a particularly stormy day. So we've made huge strides in using our natural and physical resources, and that's very much what the work that we're taking forward in Sustainable Strathclyde. Working with others is the only way we're going to move the dial in the right direction in terms of climate impacts and climate change. We need to tackle it collectively. And to make it happen, and this is with your business hat on, then we need to provide investment opportunities for those that are going to move into this space to stimulate a green recovery post-COVID pandemic, for instance. So I've just got a few slides, really, two or three more, just to let you see. And I don't expect anybody to know the geography of Glasgow, but we're at the heart of Glasgow city centre at the University of Strathclyde. And in this drawing, you can see the River Clyde. That's a catchment, a large river for Scotland's purposes. It's 1,300 square kilometres. And the way we look at that in this context is that's 1 gigawatt of heat that the city is looking to tap into. And we're very much thinking that the heat, that's the latent heat that's in that river, can provide affordable heat for the residents, businesses and organisations in the city. So instead of using gas for our heating, we're looking at a city-wide district heating network. And in this district, let's call it, that's £500 million worth of investment in district heating alone. Creating what we call climate corridors, so reimagining our streets as being less about car use and more about people, more about climate services, to just distribute heat to the various housing and businesses that sit around Glasgow city centre, working very much in partnership with the City Council, the local authority, our Energy Investment Fund, SALIX, and in what we call an innovation district that's in the heart of Glasgow. So that's our ambition, with large heat pumps in the Clyde, and thinking about very much our community and how we work with our communities to provide affordable climate responses such as affordable heat. Our technical team, again, a collaboration of a number of different people working on the technical feasibility of how we bring that about. And our steering group, again, lots of actors who are working in Scotland, in the city and in the region, all of whom have a direct interest and investment in this project. So it's a very exciting project. We think it's going to transform the city, and that's very much we see as an exemplar for future city responses to the climate challenge, because no one organisation can do this on its own. We have to collaborate. And just one final slide, what might that transformation mean for the city? This is one of the streets that is in our target zone. It's a typical Glaswegian street, I would say, at risk of being shot at by the council in terms of what that urban streetscape looks like. But what we think it should be more about is green space, distributing the energy and the systems, digital, low carbon energy, connecting communities, thinking about places for people rather than places dominated by cars, and getting people moving in a much more active and sustainable, healthy and well-being appropriate manner. So our architecture students are working on this vision with us. We're working with our business students who all have a voice, and I think that's what I would leave you with, is as students in this kind of paradigm that we're sitting within, you have a very strong and powerful voice to offer up to society. You are the future. We rely on your innovation, your ideas, your expertise, your passion, your energy to bring forward the solutions that really will help us to transform to a new way to be, if you like. I think you need someone with a bit of vision, and you need that collective ambition. But I think, so when you bring all that together, then a university can act as a neutral facilitator without a vested business interest necessarily, without a local authority kind of governance in terms of city and region. It's a place of learning, a place of insight, knowledge, ideas, innovation. All of those put together create a very powerful kind of force for good. As being, well, we have to be socially responsible as a university, don't we? But we are there to generate ideas, learning, teaching, research, build capacity in society, and add that kind of overlying kind of input as a facilitator of change. That's how I see it.
So Charmaine Morell from Nottingham Trent University. As I was saying, we're a fairly large university. We've got 32,000 students. I'm not going to talk so much about the campus, although we have our net zero carbon target. So we are very focused on that in our buildings and our green spaces and so on. But what I'd like to talk to you about today is more our partnership within the university. We have external collaborations as well, but I particularly want to talk about our relationship, our partnership with our student union and with our students. So some of the initiatives that we do year on year to hopefully give you some ideas as well. So one of the first things, we have an online platform and also an app for our mobile phones called Green Rewards. And this is a platform that incentivises and rewards students and staff in more sustainable and well-being lifestyle choices. And this is around things like your well-being, but it's around how you travel, it's around what you eat, it's around single-use plastic and all those other sort of areas that our students are really interested in. So each month, staff and students get vouchers to sort of encourage that more sustainable lifestyle choices. And we also make termly donations to charity. So it's a great fun way, kind of gamification for incentivising and getting students on board. We get involved, so this is when I say we, I'm talking about my team, the sustainability team, so the operational side of the business, if you like, of the university. So we work with our student union on all sorts of areas, and this photograph here shows our student union promoting our new sticker, our bin sticker campaign. So students were confused about what went in the bins, and things were getting in a bad muddle, and we wanted to get better segregation. So we did a lot of consultation with our students, and this was the sort of activity then to get that message understood by our students and our staff as well. And another collaboration is at the end of term, students would have a lot of items that they wanted to get rid of, and historically these would be disposed of. But we stepped in and we worked with the City Council and also the other university in Nottingham, so the two Nottingham universities, and came up with our Pack for Good partnership with the British Heart Foundation. So now that we have collections, termly connections, that students can donate to, and we've won national awards for this, so that's very exciting. So, excuse me. Also, you know, we're working together to provide opportunities. Oops. So some of those opportunities that we can offer students, we have a weekly allotment food share project, so students can come and volunteer, you know, whenever they like really, but we offer it weekly throughout term time to come and learn how to grow fruit and vegetables, and then that produce is donated to local people in need through food banks and so on. And we also have tree planting opportunities every year really for our students to participate in, and it's a great way of sort of you know, sharing that knowledge and getting different groups of people together, and we usually do the tree planting with community groups as well. We also have a Eco Ambassadors scheme for students, so it's a way of connecting like-minded students together to make those kind of more sustainable or kickstart those sustainable projects that they're particularly interested in. We've got about 38 at the moment, but it's we re-recruit every year, or it's an ongoing process. So collaborating to maximise impact. One of the weeks that we do every year is our Enterprise Week, and this is to really incentivise and reward more sustainable business practice, or more sustainable businesses. So our students are often innovators and they have great business ideas. Even before they start university, they might have got their own business. So there's a competition really for students to get more funds really for their business ideas, and in particular we're looking at sustainable business ideas, whether it's a sustainable business model or it's an actual service or product that delivers social or environmental impact. We also do Fair Trade Fortnight really to promote fair trade. We're a fair trade university, so we have lots of activities, and again I should say that these are all in collaboration with our student union and also our global team. And this is well, it's a yearly event that we've put on. This year we did it virtually, so there weren't so many photographs I could show you, but this photograph shows you just before the original lockdown in March of last year, our Getting to Net Zero carbon panel and workshop, where we had about 120 students, members of the public and staff, all talking about how we could deliver Nottingham's net zero carbon ambitions. And we run a yearly conference on sustainability. We've actually only done this for 2 years running, but it has great collaborations, and we run workshops as well, really to inspire and get inspiration from students. So it's great collaborations really to share ideas and, you know, to really get that environmental and social action going. Also within our Green Academy teams, that's on the academic side, They run carbon literacy training, and have run that for students as well. And even students are then empowered to go and deliver that training too. So it's a really good example, and I'd kind of urge anyone to have a look into that. And lastly, but I don't intend for you to read all of this, but it was just to give you some information to perhaps look at later for some ideas for different events that we put on. Actually, that was last year's Green Week, but we do run other weeks as well, but maybe if that might give you some ideas for later. And you'd be very welcome to follow the sustainability team at Nottingham Trent University on Twitter, Facebook or Instagram.
I have created many brands of red water companies, and the latest was Red Water Consulting. I do have an agreement and a license from the Ministry of Environment and Sustainable Energy to be to give and to do files for my clients who has businesses in industry. We do impact studies for them, hazardous studies for them, in order to see if their kind of businesses and activities won't be dangerous for all the components of the environment, which is the human, well, the nature and every part of the environment. And then, well, the government will give him the authorization. And while doing this and during this journey, I would like to say a quote. I heard it before, which says the best way to success in business is to be in business, and it goes with everything. The best way to success in every field is to be in the field itself. Well, while being in this field, I had a client who came to me, and he asked us, because we offer many services, to help him having an agreement for waste collection. Here in Algeria, you cannot collect special wastes unless you are authorized, and for that you have to do a file and a study, and you submit it to the ministry. And while constituting this file, there is a part that we have to bring this entrepreneur and give him like 1 or 2 days training about how it should be, how the waste should be treated, how the waste should be collected from place A to place B where it has to be treated. And the kind of waste this guy was interested in is the waste, the medical waste. And while talking about how we do treat it here in Algeria, we incinerate this waste. It has a lot of germs and microbes, and the guy said, no, don't worry about that. I know a place no one knows about it, and I went through it there. And it was like, oh my God, why? I mean, I was really not. I stopped being professional, and I was like, are you serious? Why are? I mean, I tried, me and my consultant, to push this commitment and push his I don't know, his awareness about the environment and about the impact he's going to make. But he was like, no, I would like to make a lot of profits. I would like to have a lot of clients and all. And when I came back home, I could not stop about what happened. And when I came back home, I was thinking about this guy, and then I thought about his background. He was a guy who had no university degrees or any kind of this. I mean, he has done no studies. He has zero awareness and zero commitment. And I was like, why? And I just thought about all the people that were in my major. Most of them are abroad, or most of them are in other fields. They have nothing to do with the environment, because I'm a process and environmental engineering. So I just had this, like, the nature hates the empty spaces, and it always been taken by someone. I mean, if it's not us who have done these studies in environmental field and process, someone else would do it, and it was this guy and others that I didn't have the chance to meeting them. And this guy has nothing to do with the environmental field. And here I decided to open my service of collecting bio-waste and medical waste and do it properly, really properly, the way it should be done.